Tisvapadantikam Vandeham Shiguro Srijutapadakamalam Shiguru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanto Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we will discuss without the sharing. This chapter is titled Spontaneous Devotion, further described. Spontaneous devotion, right? Till now we were discussing about Vaidhi Bhakti or Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, right? Which starts with rules and following rules and regulations. In the Dasamula Stotra, we find Adau Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya, right? So that Adau Shraddha, initially the preliminary faith is there, and then Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya, associating with likely minded devotees and performing the process of devotional service. That performing the process of devotional service, we quite an extent went over different features of performing the process of devotional service in Vaidhi. With Vaidhi means with following rules and regulations. And we studied of different elements in that, and ultimately we saw the Panchanga process, the 5 key elements, right? To recap that, the 5 key elements are um, staying in Braj or staying in Mathura, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Chanting then serving a devotee, and we are missing one. Hearing the revealed scriptures. Yeah, hearing the revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, rendering service to the devotees, performing devotional service in Kartik. Yeah, so no, so these are the different elements which you formed, and deity worship, serving the deities, right? So serving the deities with great devotion, recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with advanced devotees, chanting the holy name of the Lord, and living in Mathura are the five main elements, five potent forms of devotional service, which is mentioned in chapter 13. And then, what are the qualifications which are required to perform this? This was discussed in chapter 14. And then, chapter 15th and 16th starts discussing about this spontaneous devotional service, or also often called Raganuga Bhakti, right? Raganuga Bhakti. So, Raganuga Bhakti means you perform devotional service, right? You're at, first of all, at an advanced stage of devotional service. Uh, in the Dasamula Stotra, after Anartha Nivritti has already happened, association with uh, taking guidance from advanced devotees or spiritual master who helps us to remove that anarthas within us. And that preliminary faith has come to the stage of Nishta, firm faith, and then automatically now you are not following devotional service with some rules and regulations, but spontaneously you are performing devotional service, right? Because you are getting the ruchi, you are getting the taste, asakti, you are becoming weak without performing devotional service, right? So that advanced platform, a Raganuga Bhakta, like a Ragatmika Bhakta, what does he do? He follows a Raganuga devotee who similarly is performing spontaneous devotional service, right? And he, just like a person desiring to follow in the footsteps of eternal devotees of the Lord, right? Eternal devotees of the Lord, as the Rishnis, like the residents of Dwarka or Vrindavan, denizens are called Raganuga devotees, right? And that process is called Raganuga Bhakti, following the footsteps of Raganuga Bhakta, right? Following the footsteps of Raganuga uh, uh, Bhakta. And uh, then the chapter discusses about what are the qualifications, what is the eligibility required for this Raganuga or Ragatmika Bhakta, or one who is following this Raganuga devotional service, right? So the qualifications is mentioned as he should be spontaneously attracted to some of the eternal devotees, like Nanda Maharaj, Jashoda, spontaneously attracted to them, right? And following in their footsteps spontaneously, right? You follow in the footsteps of uh, either the Vatsalya Bhaktas like Nanda Maharaj, Jashoda Mai, or Sakya Bhaktas like Subal, who is the main devotee in Sakyaras, and following their footsteps spontaneously, right? Is not dependent on scriptural injunction. Hello? Hello? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yes, somebody was speaking in the background. Please mute your lines. Yeah. He's not dependent on scriptural injunctions uh, to come to some stage of devotional service, because that inspiration to follow is Raganuga Bhakta comes from within, from their own spontaneous affection. Right. So the basic qualification required for spontaneous devotional service is lobha, spiritual lobha, right? Not uh, lobha to perform spontaneous devotional service is a basic qualification required. And that becomes manifested in a person when he is freed from material contamination. When one is in material contamination, or means has this now covered of anarthas, kam, krodh, lobh, moh, matsarya, then at times that spontaneous devotional service becomes like now means he imitates himself as, oh, I'm become Nanda Maharaja, I become Mother Jasoda. But at the same time, he has this material contamination. So he becomes like, Rupa Goswami mentioned that he is like he becomes a nuisance. Uh, yeah. Or that process is called Siddha Pranali. The Siddha Pranali process is followed by a class of men who are not very authorized and who have manufactured their own way of devotional service. They imagine that they have become associates of the Lord simply by thinking of themselves like that. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles, and the so-called Siddha Pranali process is followed by the Prakrati Sahajiyas, the pseudo-sect of so-called Vaishnavas. They are Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas are termed as pseudo-devotees. They are not really Vaishnavas, but they are imitating, and that's why it is called Sahajya Bhav. They are imitating as if they are in a very advanced platform, but they have all this material contamination. But they imitate that, oh, they have become now Srimati Radharani, or they have become like Nanda Maharaja, Mother Jasoda. So a basic qualification required for this Raganuga Bhakta or Ragatmika Bhakta is freed from material contamination. And after being freed from material contamination is following in footsteps of a devotee who similarly is attracted either in Vatsalya mood or Sakya mood for the Supreme Lord. Yeah. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there's a verse which mentions about that. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tadbhava lipsuni karya vraja lokanusarataha. Which means that externally he continues to act as a neophyte devotee of the Lord. He does not pose himself as the Sahaja Bhakta that, oh, I'm a very advanced devotee. Right. So he continues to act as a neophyte devotee as long as his material body is there. And externally, he continues to follow the regulative principles of devotional service. But internally, or mentally, follows the behavior of Siddharupa. Right. Siddharupa means the eternally liberated devotee. An eternally liberated devotee. So that's the difference. He does not pose as an advanced devotee. He poses himself externally as a neophyte devotee, follows scriptural injunctions, but mentally he follows the behavior of liberated devotees and follows in their footsteps and spontaneously becomes attracted to the Supreme Lord. Versus the Siddha Pranali process, which is a deviation, where a person prematurely imagines of one's form. Exclusively, they refer to Rajvasis like Rupa Manjari, not his external form like Rupa Goswami. Right. Yeah. So that's the difference. So then there are two categories of Raganuga Bhakti: Kamanuga, or conjugal love, or Sambandhanuga, friendship and parenthood. Kamanuga conjugal love was to some extent explained in the previous chapter. And in this chapter, it further explains about Sambandhanuga, friendship and parenthood, like following uh, Nanda Maharaj or Jasudamai in Vatsalya mood, or Subala in Sakya mode. The Kamanuga conjugal love was further classified into two: Sambhoga Ichamai, where person develops the mood of the heroine, means the supreme lover, the gopis, or Srimati Radharani, Sambhoga Ichamai, or Tat Tat Bhava Ichatmika, the mood of the maid of the supreme heroine, like the Manjari, the mood of the gopis are the servants of Srimati Radharani. The assistants to the gopis are the Manjaris. So, forming a mood of the Manjaris is called Tat Tat Bhava Ichatmika. So that's the difference between the Kamanuga, Raganuga Bhakta, Sambhoga Ichamai and Tat Tat Bhava Ichatmika. These are technical terms. Now, the eligibility for Kamanuga Bhakti, it's mentioned as developing natural attraction to serve Krishna in conjugal love. It's achieved by worshipping the deities of Radha and Krishna, and by hearing the Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, right? And engaging in following the regulative principles of devotional service, one comes to this advanced stage, and then he follows a Raganuga Bhakta, and he further purifies himself to get this attraction to serve Krishna in Madhurya, a very advanced stage. It is not limited for only females to be gopis. Even a male can have that mood of the gopis. Just like example is given that during Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, in the forest of Dandakaranya, there are all these sages who approached Lord Ramachandra in the mood of conjugal mood to now associate with them or reciprocate with them in that conjugal mood. But Lord Ramachandra kind of mentioned at that time that, yeah, I mean, the role of Maryada Purushottam, Ekapatni Vrat. So, but you will be able to have conjugal rasa, Madhurya rasa with me in when I come as Purna Purushottam Krishna. And that's why the sages of the Dandakaranya became the gopis in Krishna Lila. Right. They were male, but they became gopis. So it's not limited that, gopis now, that means only Matajis can have that relationship. No. Um, the mood in relationship to Lord Krishna, he is the original Purusha, and we all are Prakriti, right? We all are Sakti. So again, conjugal love or Madhura Ras is divided into two, Parakya Bhav and Swakya Bhav. The Swakya Bhav is the Bhav which is exhibited by the queens of Dwarka, and the Parakya Bhav, which is the most advanced, Parakya Bhav, Brajate Prachar, is exhibited by the Braj Gopis. What is Parakya Bhav? Parakya Bhav is um, the conjugal Madhurya Ras exhibited by a beloved for the Supreme Lord. Right. They may be married to someone, but they're completely attracted to the Supreme Lord, that when he plays the flute, they give all the duties and just are attracted, and in the spiritual form they go to where Krishna is playing his flute. And then in this chapter, the Sambandhanuga is discussed by direct parenthood of friendship with Krishna. Right. So parenthood or friendship with Krishna, direct or service of Krishna's parents and friends. There are two types, right? Direct means one wants to become Nanda Maharaj or Mother Jashoda, wants to become the father of Krishna. The danger is um, while having that mood, he may develop impersonalism, right? He may develop impersonalism. He wants to merge as Nanda Maharaj, Mother Jashoda. So instead, it is recommended to serve Krishna's parents or friends. And in that service mood, increase our spontaneous attraction for the Supreme Lord. Right. So when you serve a Raganuga devotee who has spontaneous attraction, you also develop spontaneous attraction for the Supreme Lord. And that's what Raganuga sadhana is also called as Pushti Marg. Pushti Marg is also spontaneous devotion to the Supreme Lord. And that's why we see that in one of our Vaishnava Sampradaya, like the Vallabh Sampradaya, at an advanced stage in Vallabh Sampradaya, the devotees are spontaneously attracted to serve the Supreme Lord in the Bal Gopal form. Right? Spontaneously attracted to serve the Supreme Lord in Bal Gopal form. That's why Pushti Marg is termed as spontaneous devotion or Raganuga sadhana. Right. Okay, are there any questions on this advanced topic of spontaneous devotion further described? Hari Hari. Sorry, I have to work on my laptop after upgrading my operating system on my old Mac, and that has created all this issue. So I need to show it to an expert what I need to do to share or what's happening. Okay, but
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat
very
Prabhu.
well. That was your part.
Prabhu, how do we identify between actual feelings for Krishna and Sahajiya?
Very good. A very good question. How do we identify that we are actually having the feelings for Krishna and Sajya? One way to identify is if we still have material attraction, right? That feelings which we may have for Krishna is not on the platform of Raganuga. It's not, it has some glimpse of some feelings. But now, when we extend that feeling on a higher platform, that hey, no, and we start rolling on the ground and uh, doing all those, and at the same time have that material contamination, that becomes Sahajaism, like Prakrata Bhakta. You got the difference, Mother?
Then that means, Prabhu, at least I speak for myself, the material is still there, right? So that means we never have feelings for Krishna, right?
Yeah, so, well, we have some glimpse of feelings. We don't have, we are not on that spontaneous platform.
Mm,
We are not at the Raganuga Bhakta platform. We are still at Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti platform, where we don't have spontaneous attraction for the Supreme Lord. We may sometimes have some glimpse, but it's very, very um, temporary
correct. Okay.
because we still are attracted to Bhautik Sukh.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because yeah, many times sometimes I do feel like, certain things, but like you said, it's temporary. Correct.
Yeah, so uh, it's temporary, and so with, so that's why we are not still at that platform of Raganuga Bhakta. In Raganuga Bhakta, it becomes spontaneous, and that spontaneous remains continuous.
Mm,
Not that, oh, one day um, I want to do, no, means wake up early and do all the rounds nicely, and no, means think about the Supreme Lord and make the items so nicely. And the other day, means that tardiness comes in our service.
mm,
Right?
yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this advanced topic? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my.
Is that command?
So, Prabhu, this we can understand that we get some glimpse, though we have material attachment still. Not yet
Yeah.
gone. That is just temporary. Now, is that glimpse also called abhas, or is abhas something else?
Yeah, we can abhas of that spontaneous devotion, you can call. Normally, abhas is related more as we don't know about any meaning of it, and we get just like the nama bhas, right? The person on the nama bhas platform, he does not know anything about the significance of the holy name, but now somehow, because now is comes in contact with that name, that he gets that abhas of that um, significance of chanting the holy name. That's namabhas. So similarly, the abhas of Raganuga, yeah, you can say that means you get some um, Prabhupada kind of mentions that connection. No, like what a devotee asked, Shri Prabhupada, sometimes when I chant the holy name, my hair stands on end. My voice starts choking up. And Srila Prabhupada kind of would mention that, continue chanting, it will go away. Right. Continue chanting, it will go away.
Mm.
Right. So, no, sometimes we may suddenly, get that taste, see. But then, it's either material, it's gross sense gratification or even subtle sense gratification. The mind plays tricks. So, yeah, see, no, not getting real taste.
Mm.
So, now, I'm no longer a neophyte. You know, people like my lectures, like my kirtan. No, they they take, they bow down. Oh, no, I don't know, but something must be, I must be doing something good. So all those kind of things when comes in our head, we should be very, very careful. Introspective, we should look at that particular time that, hey, I hope that does not lead to my fall down. Because those are subtle sense gratification. Naam la pratishta, shukre ravishta. Subtle sense gratification. Yeah. Is that okay? Understandable?
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks. Hare Krishna.
Any other discussion?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
No problem, Mataji.
So Prabhuji, from what I understand, there is that, and please correct me if I did not understand it correctly, that Vaidhi Bhakti is the first stage, right? And then eventually, once you advance or, once you're qualified enough, you move on to the Raganuga Bhakti stage. And that stage is going to be what you just said, like to Sachidani Mataji, that you have to be in that stage like continuously, not just with the glimpses. And that's the true Raganuga Bhakti stage. But it's not necessary, right, Prabhuji, that a devotee has to go through the Vaidhi Bhakti stage to reach the ultimate stage. Is that how it is?
Yeah, no. Normal process is a person goes to the Vaidhi Bhakti stage to get to the Raghavanga Bhakti stage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just like a person directly does not go to the college, he first of all has to go to the school to become qualified to go to the higher subject matters. Right. So Vaidhi Bhakti stage is the means gets us to that platform of higher graduation to more advanced topics.
Right. Mm. So you really have to work towards it.
Yes.
That could be your end goal, kind of a thing, right? But
Yeah, because
okay.
once that
Mhm.
spontaneous devotion kicks in, now we have taste in performing devotional service. In
Mhm.
Vedic Bhakti stage, you may not have taste in performing devotional service.
Yeah,
We are just performing it in guidance of somebody, and at times we are just performing it because somebody has guided you.
true. Mm.
Or in like you take initiation, you're just performing it because you speak to please the spiritual master. You're following his orders, right? So for following his orders, you're performing 16 rounds, chanting 16 rounds. Sometimes does not happen in morning, then you struggle in the afternoon or evening, and all kinds of opera that around that chanting, but we still try to finish that 16 rounds. Now that's in the Vaidya Bhakti stage. Now in the Raganuga Bhakti stage, you're getting taste in each and every name which you chant of the Lord.
Right. Okay.
And means if we do not perform something, we start becoming nervy that why must oh and means, it can even be performed mentally. Like the Brahmana who performed mentally wants to ensure that whatever he performs for the Supreme Lord is first class first. So he even cooks for the Lord in his mentally, and he touches the utensil and he gets burnt, right? So yeah, those are advanced platform, and further in that advanced platform, so that he completely becomes engaged in spontaneous attraction to the Supreme Lord. He gets attracted to a devotee who is following that spontaneous attraction or spontaneous devotion,
Right.
like Nanda Maharaj or Jasoda Mai or Sudama or other friends or the gopis, right? And then Norman says we learn Norman's in that particular mood, then not becoming one with them, but as subservient to this Raganuga Bhakta, he serves those Raganuga Bhakta so that his spontaneous devotion increases more and more.
Mhm. Yeah. So we should strive for that every day. Like we should
Yes,
at least strive to be absorbed more in what we're doing and
yes,
not think of reaching there, but eventually with God's grace and devotees, association we may, but for now, like it will be just us working through and absorbing in whatever we are doing, right, Prabhuji?
yes,
Even if
yes.
it's very bhakti.
Yeah, and become fixed in performing devotion, our regulatory devotional service to that such an extent that when we become like regularly performing that, then it's mentioned that Bhakti Charma used to nicely explain this that now by no, uh, following Srila Prabhupada, right, and his dictates, Srila Prabhupada is on the platform of Raganuga Bhakta, right, we will develop attraction,
Mhm.
right. Associate of Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, by following himself, we will get Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotion to the Supreme Lord. Yeah, so not only
Yeah.
Nanda Maharaj and Jasoda Mai and something, but even like yeah, the Siddha Rupa, the eternally liberated associates of the Supreme Lord, like Srila Prabhupada, eternally liberated associate of the Supreme Lord. Is that all right, Madhuri?
Yeah. Thank you. Haribol, Prabhuji. Hopefully, we all reach that stage. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, we should all strive for it.
Yeah.
And this um, age, it has become more uh, easily achievable with just following um, the dictates of Mahaprabhu as chanting the holy name of the Lord and his pure associates like Srila Prabhupada. and the Guru Varga, we will develop spontaneous attraction to the Supreme Lord.
True. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
Any other question or discussion, reflection?
Prabhu, it's so easy to get discouraged, right? It seems like the goal is so far. We are still so entangled in. I mean, I speak for myself, but I think a lot of us are.
Well, you should always see that glass is, even if it is half full, you should say the glass is half full. At least I am able to follow Vaidhi Bhakti to some extent by the mercy of the devotees in this lifetime. Brahmande Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiva. Consider us fortunate that no means at least after wandering so many lifetimes, going after material enjoyment day in, day out, this lifetime, at least we got shelter of pure devotees of the Lord, and we are sincerely trying to follow in their footsteps, though we have all these hindrances in form of our material conditioning, but we are trying our best to follow. And when we will try our best to follow, like now, Srila Prabhupada mentioning that, it's okay, follow perfectly uh, four regulative principles and chanting of 16 rounds of the holy name daily. Follow perfectly, and I will take you back to Godhead.
Yes.
100%, right? Then people, everybody say, oh, that's such a high bar, like you kind of mentioned. It's so difficult. What's our chance? And he comes down a step and he says, oh, follow completely 75%. And I'll personally take you all back to Godhead. And still people say, oh, 75%. No, means we have so much anarthas. He comes down one step and says, follow 50%. Right. So in that way, by the compassion of Srila Prabhupada and his followers, they know what we are going through and our material conditioning. Right. So, but they encourage us in and out. Oh, follow this, follow this, follow this. They themselves are engaged 24 hours. Right? We say of Guru Maharaj. They engage 24 hours. And they can see that, oh, no, means we are struggling in our devotional endeavors. But they go on encouraging us. So, holding on to that encouragement, holding on to the lotus feet of those devotees is our hope. Right? So that at any time we should not give up. Just like we're trying to swim in this Bhavasagar and many times we feel that, oh, we will drown. They are throwing this, like the lifeguards, they're throwing this ring. That, oh, no one say, take this ring and come to this boat which will means nicely coming to this boat, you'll be easily be able to cross this material ocean nicely. And we are holding to the ring, and we still have that means we're not completely able to uh, take it. And more we are not able to take it, we are still trying to swim in this Bhavsagar. But the moment we'll take, enough is enough, I by myself won't be able to swim, let me get onto this boat, right?
Mm.
Then I'll be able to sail nicely through this Bhavsagar. Right. So that's how we should take seriously and sincerely the causeless mercy and the process which they have laid out and follow that.
Recording in progress.
Yeah.
No, I feel there is improvement. Like earlier, we used to come home from work and do what? Watch TV or something, Now everything, all that has just stopped.
Very good.
So, we are engaged over here in classes every day. By the time it's night, then, it's time to retire for the night.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Yeah.
I'll drop off Prabhuji. I have to join the other Bhakti group.
Yes, it's a Bhakti Viksha.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Okay,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna.
Anybody else has any questions or discussion?
Prabhuji, I have a silly question. Sorry if it's silly and it's not
No, no.
related to the topic, if I can ask.
Please.
Okay. So Prabhuji, so we do our 16 rounds, right, in the morning. And like sometimes while driving to work or coming back or, doing whatever I'm cooking stuff at home, I still like kind of like chant and then I'm not paying total attention to that, right? So is that considered like aparad? I've done with the chanting in the morning though, like the rounds, the 16 rounds. So like I don't know. I'm still a
Yeah.
pretty neophyte
Good
to this
question,
type of
Mataji.
music.
We all go through that, so don't worry about it. So your question is that considered as aparad, namaparad?
Yeah.
The answer is yes, it is. When we are not having full attention on the chanting of the holy name, it is namaprad, inattentive while chanting. So in one sense, it is namaprad, but it's mentioned that even when we are at the stage of that namaprad, we continue chanting so that a day will come when we'll be able to overcome that namaprad. A day will come where Namans will be completely absorbed in chanting the holy name. Right now, at times, we may be, not paying full attention. Like as you mentioned, times chanting while driving. There are things which you can do while driving. We can hear Srila Prabhupada's class. We can hear some lectures. We can hear some kirtan. But sometimes we want to finish our rounds. Every day may not be that good that we are able to finish our rounds in the morning. If we are able to finish every day our rounds in the morning, it's always good. But some days when we are not able to finish, sometimes moments we have to resort to chanting while driving or chanting in evening, more inattentive chanting.
Mm-hmm.
But we still do that as rules and regulations to perform Vaidhi Bhakti to finish it, right? Because the vow which we have taken of chanting 16 rounds. So, yes, it is an offense, but still continue chanting, even though it initially would be offensive chanting.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sure.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Any other discussion? Okay. We'll call quits then today. वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वैष्णववृंद की जय। भक्ति रसामृता सिंधु की जय।
Jai.
और
Thank
प्रेम
you.
से हरि बोल।
Hari
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 Bol.
Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so
you.
much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare